Hello, everyone, and welcome to a day in the life of Desirae segment of Comedy Corner. I have the talented comedian Tony Cobain here with me today out of D.C. Tony was born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1993, and as young as he is, not only does he do well as a stand-up comic, he's also a self-taught piano player and guitarist. While he was a senior in high school, Tony auditioned for several top acting universities in New York City, such as Julliard and the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. With all of his choices, he eventually decided to attend Howard University in Washington, D.C. While there, he continued to sharpen his stand-up comedy skills and produced his own web series, The Tony Cobain Show. He says that some of his comedic inspirations are his mother, Eddie Murphy, Chris Tucker, and Dave Chappelle. Today we will learn much more about him. Welcome to my Comedy Corner segment, Tony. It's my pleasure to have you here today.
Hey, how's it going, Desirae? It's your boy Tony Cobain here. Thank you so much for having me on your Comedian's Corner this week. Thank you.
Okay, well, so Tony, I know that you began your love for stand-up comedy while you were still in high school, and you have a very interesting history in regard to you auditioning at Julliard and the American Music and Dramatic Academy, and you have so many things going on for you, but you decided after all that on an excellent HBU, Howard University. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself and why you chose that school over some of the other schools.
Okay, so I actually started doing stand-up comedy when I was first time I did stand-up I was 15 or 16, and at the same time I started taking acting classes and stuff. And that time in high school they start to ask the questions like, what college do you want to go to? And to be honest, I was like, no, I'm just going to be a comedian and an actor. I don't want to go to college. but one of my requirements to graduate high school, we had to apply to colleges.
Yes.
And so, and we had to get accepted into colleges to even graduate high school. So I was just applying to I was looking up performing arts and acting colleges. And I was like, let me try Julliard, and that was very difficult.
Great school too.
Very, very difficult. Then I also tried the American Musical Dramatic Academy up in New York as well. I got into that when I was initially going to go to that school, but somehow I ended up at Howard, which was one of my best decisions of my life thus far.
A lot of great people come out of Howard University, including yourself. So, I mean, it's not surprising that you chose that school. How did you like it when you were there?
Oh, Howard, it was a great experience. I networked. I met so many people. I learned a lot, and I just got to soak in some of that rich Howard history. And another thing about Howard as well, you see so many people on campus hustling, doing great things outside of class. You got people promoting parties, and the girls selling clothes, and everybody got their own side businesses going, and that just pushes you to do more stuff.
Right, because there's so many different creative people there. I mean, in the surrounding area and everything. So I could definitely understand that. One thing I know I want to ask you though about your stand-up, I've noticed with people just in general when they're on stage, especially people who are doing some type of performance, whether it's music or acting or comedy, they're very creative, but they're also sometimes very extroverted. How would you describe your personality on and off stage?
So at first I was a really shy person.
Oh, wow.
I was really shy. I was really, really shy. So it was a surprise when a lot of people, teachers and people who have known me since a kid, they found out I was a comic, all this other stuff in entertainment. It was like, you? Really? I was like, yeah. And it's like, wow.
You come out of your shell now, right?
Yeah, but I've always been funny amongst friends and family, and I always loved being in entertainment circles. So kind of my personal life, I was kind of shy, but like the more I go on stage and I do so much more stuff in entertainment, it kind of like crosses over to my real life now. So now I'm really just like how my sister always is like really annoying when I talk too much. You know, in my personal life. You know. I don't think I'm annoying though, but I think I'm more outgoing now. I like to you know, I just mess with people now. Like I'll be at Whole Foods and I just like start talking to people. I'm so dumb, but it's all in fun.
And, you know, and that's fun. You remind me of Whole Foods, one of my favorite stores. They don't have one out this way where I am right now, but I love them. That one and Wegmans is another one that I love.
Oh, Wegmans, yeah. Wegmans.
I love them too. But I was listening to you talk about, you know, what your sister says and everything. But so would you say that you were introverted and being involved in comedy kind of brought out some extrovert qualities in you because you got used to being out in public and you like to talk to people anyway?
Yeah, I was definitely an introvert. Like I was the guy who was afraid to talk to girls and stuff. Like,
oh no,
like I was the guy afraid to talk to girls. It's funny because one of my favorite movies is Hitch. And,
yeah,
and I was looking at Hitch, and I was like, wow, that was definitely me. Like how Will Smith's character before he was Hitch. He was very, you know, he was an introvert, and then he became Hitch, and then he just became like the man. I was like, that's kind of me.
So you were the type to send a friend over to the girl. Oh, go ask her or get her number for me.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
And you know, there's a lot of people like that, you know, and I think, you know, the more people learn, like you were saying, the more people learn about themselves, they realize that they already have that, you know, confidence anyway. You just have to kind of do things to pull it out and get yourself out there a little bit more. That's funny. So what kind of methods do you use to get your material? Like, for instance, is there some type of secret or something for telling like an everyday joke or to get, you know, people to laugh, or is everything more natural for you? What are some of your methods?
So when I first started stand up, I would always keep a notepad, and I would always have so many composition books around me. I still do, but back then I would just write every thought that came to mind, try to turn it into a joke. I would say I did that from like maybe 15 until maybe 19.
Mm-hmm.
I was just collecting all these thoughts. Like I literally have about over 25 composition books of stuff.
Oh wow!
And but like as I got older and I started experiencing more stuff, like it became easier because I would just use my real life experiences that I experience like every day and stuff I see, and I would just you know talk about that instead of trying to make stuff funny. And the secret to stand-up comedy, like I tell a lot of people this, like I tell my barber, because my barber's trying to be a comedian now, and I tell everybody this. Stand up, the actual writing process is really simple.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is just going on stage. Once you like go on stage, the first few times you get over that nervousness, you can be great. But actually writing stand-up comedy, like writing your set, it's the same as writing a paper at school, because you have your intro, and with your intro, for like your school paper, you want to grab the audience attention. Same with stand-up, you want to make them laugh the first 3 to 5 seconds you step on stage. Then with an essay, you have your body, which supports everything. In stand-up, you have your supporting points, your bits that you want to touch on to build your set, and then you have your ending, your closing. You want to go out with a bang and use your best joke for last. So it's the same writing an essay, basically.
Yeah, there's some steps in the whole the whole process. So, I mean, I like what you said, though, about how, you know, after a while, instead of just writing a lot of the stuff down, and you were using some of your own, you know, life as, you know, a source of your inspiration, because we all know that comedy is very creative. So, like, in your opinion, you were saying that the difference between trying to actually write a joke compared to developing a stand-up comedy presence happens over time. It kind of comes with the experience, and you learn, you know, your own methods, and you know what works for you. So what kind of rituals? You talked a little bit about that before you hit the stage. You know, that's the hardest part. You can write things down and all that, but what kind of do you do anything special before you go on stage? You know, you got the big performance in D.C., you're getting ready to hit the stage. Do you do anything that would be considered like ritualistic, you know, that helps you get through the whole comedy act?
Yeah, to be honest, I still get nervous before I do stand-up.
Yeah, let those butterflies hit. Yeah, I can imagine.
But I'll just make sure I drink water, and I try to get into like a meditative state, you know.
Okay.
Totally calm. That's all I do. That's it.
Yeah, kind of take yourself out of like, not I want to say take yourself out of who you are, but you get into a different zone.
Yeah, and I have a mantra that I kind of say as well.
What's that?
It was funny because I remember like the first time I performed at the D.C. Improv. Like I was in the green room. I was in the green room, and I'm saying like the people who signed on the walls and stuff in the green room. I'm saying like Chris Tucker named Dave Chappelle, like Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock. I'm like, Jesus Christ, all them things back here. I'm like, whoa. So like I started freaking out, and this guy said, "Dude, relax. It's just comedy. Have fun." And then I was like, "Oh, you know what? It is." So that's what I say. Like every time, just have fun and relax.
It's just like, comedy. Have fun.
Yeah. Relax.
I love that, and that's good to know, because I mean, anything that, you know, people find important, they're going to get. You know, they're going to get nervous. You're going to get those butterflies. You know, many people that I've talked to that have been performing for 20, 30 years, they still, you know, when they get ready to perform, they still have butterflies when they're about to perform. And I think that's only natural, and it makes you realize that you're still human, because it's that adrenaline rush that gets you through the whole thing. And then finally you're done. It's like, oh, God, that was simple. That was easy.
Yep.
You know, and that's great. So, the Tony Cobain Show, how did this idea come about? And I was able to take a look at some of your skits that you have. One of them was cyberbullying. I really liked that one. Because, I'm not laughing at cyberbullying. What I'm laughing at was the whole skit was, you know, funny. But, you know, cyberbullying is something very serious, and people experience that every day, and it's a very relevant topic. But the whole thing, the whole Tony Cobain Show, how did you even come up with that idea? Where did it come about, and like when did you actually start with that?
Well, like that wasn't my idea to come up with to do like a web series. It was a comedian friend who I used to like, you know, open up for and stuff.
Okay.
Back in the day, Trevor's really, you know, LA and stuff now. I used to open up for him, and we used to have like writing stuff together. And he was like, "Man, your life is funny." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." I was like, "I don't know if I should be offended or," but okay. He was like, "You should turn your stand up, your jokes or whatever into like a web series." And I was like, "Okay, we actually started like the process like in like early 2013. That's when I started it."
Okay.
And we was working on that from late 2013, and we shot the last episode. June 2016. Yeah, we only did about 8 episodes. Actually,
Okay.
I have this like Christmas special. I think I'm gonna release this Christmas, because people still like talk about that show and ask about it and stuff. And but I actually have another TV pilot that I'm working on. This network has it right now. But you know how that stuff go. Like, this is the second network to have it, but I think I'm just going to shoot the pilot myself
Right,
and,
right.
see what it does.
Well, that's great. That's a great story to share because, I was wondering that. I mean, it was Tony Cobain Show, and I was looking at some of your skits. So I was like, wonder how he got that idea for doing all these skits. And who do you find to help you, get the message across in your skits? I saw some of the other people that were working with you. Do you utilize your friends, or do you utilize other actors in the area? How does that come about?
Mainly, I just like post casting calls.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the first episode, I posted a casting call. I found some really cool people, and like eventually, like my neighbor was like, he was this episode or something. Yeah, my neighbor was like, hey man, I wanna can I get on your show? I was like, cool, and he did it. He did a great job.
Okay.
Some local DC comedians, they wanted to be a part of it, and I was like, cool. Eventually, it's started to become like easier to get people.
Right.
How many lives have you burned?
Oh no. Yeah.
But I have another question for you too, because I'm listening to how you're talking about your shows and getting people and how the Tony Cobain Show started. But what has been the biggest challenge for you when it comes to being a stand-up comedian? Or